Welcome back to Dual Realm Book Review YouTube channel. Got that right. Today we're going to be discussing and reviewing this Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Yep. So honestly, this is my Roman Empire. This is the book that I think about probably more than anything, recommend more than anything. And I don't even want to read critical reviews of it, but we are going to critically review it today. So I might struggle, but it's all right. So again, obviously, I love this book. So we're going to jump into, Andy, what did you think of the characters?
The characters were great. I love the fact that they're not one-dimensional. They are complicated. And you can really see from each character's perspective of the main three that you can really get a feel for like why they're making some of their choices, even if you don't 100% agree with them like I do. You might not always know it when they make the choice, but usually it gets explained a little bit. So I know I sent you many texts on like, I don't know why. Why are they doing this? Oh, okay, never mind. I figured it out.
Why did you do this? Yeah, I really like Eliza, however you want to pronounce it. She is, to me, is a great main female character. She is strong without being bullheaded. She cares about people. She without being weak, but she also she doesn't create problems where there aren't ones, you know, with her attitude. Because kind of comparing her to like Selena from Throne of Glass, like she creates problems everywhere she goes. Oh yeah. Eliza is like, I just want to be happy. I want to get out of here. I
want to be left alone.
Fade into the background. Just let me, just let me go, be on my own, and I will be 100% happy by myself. And unfortunately for her, nobody wants to leave her alone to let her just go be happy. So I just really liked her. So, and I like that some people really hate the whole like found powers or whatever trope, which she just known she's had her powers. She's just hides them. But, or hidden royalty. People hate that trope too, but I like it. So I feel like partly this book was just written for me to have things that I like. So it's why I like it so much. And I just think I've reread it multiple times already. And I don't reread books. Like once I know what happens, I don't care. I don't come back, but I have reread this book multiple times. So, and to go back to characters, the little love triangle deal. It is a triangle because it kind of makes you want to pick between one or the other.
It is on our end, I feel like it's more of a triangle, more than she wants, you know, more than Eliza is, you know, letting on, because she's like it's not in a like a cheating kind of love triangle way, whereas she's really trying to be friends with these guys, or sort of trying to be friends with them and not let the
she's trying to get to know them and figure out. She's just trying to figure out who's my enemy, who's my ally, who can I depend on to help me, because clearly I'm getting drawn into this no matter what. And she's trying to figure out who her allies are and who her friends are and who her enemies are, more than she's trying to get with them. You know, she has feelings, but she's like, I need to know who you are first. Who are you?
Yeah.
So
and that it is more
Yeah, so I
she
think
is
that's
trying to
where
figure out,
Cyrus and Cameron,
yeah, are different. They're very different
that's
characters. And she learns more about, well, more
very
particularly,
different. You have Prince
yes.
Charming on one side and then Dark and Mysterious.
I think I'm getting book 1 and book 2 confused because I just finished book 2. But because I don't want to say too much about Cyrus because he doesn't really come into book 2. But
Yeah.
because book 1, like
Mm-mm.
her,
Yeah, he doesn't come in until the very end of
she's
book 1.
attracted to these guys, but they are also described as like the most handsome like person in the kingdom. So I guess like it makes sense that
Yeah.
she would be attracted to them.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's walking down the street and she's like, "Oh, he's cute." That's
Hmm.
about as far as it gets.
Yeah, because
I think
ultimately her
there
main
people do complain about
complaint about what?
there not being enough romance in this
Oh,
book for a
yes, because
romantasy.
it's
But I think it's
yes,
more of a romantasy in the sense of the way that it's written and the relationship dynamics between the characters more than for
yeah.
what
So
is happening.
to me, when I say okay, this is more of a romance book or more of a relationship-driven storyline, particularly male-female relationship, or or I guess a love interest relationship, not like a mother daughter relationship, but like a love interest relationship, but a relationship driven story versus an epic adventure or some kind of quest or mastering, magic powers to, overthrow a tyrant king or whatever. Um, Whereas those are all fantasy storylines, there's generally not relationship driven. So when a story is more like relationship driven, to me, it falls more into the romance category, or um, I'm not sure what the like. I guess fiction and less fantasy um, for non love interest relationships.
Yeah. I mean, there's relationships throughout a lot of books. They're
There can
character and plot
be
driven.
yeah, there can be relationships in fantasy books, but it's what's driving the
It's not the
story.
main.
What's the main? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Um, we were talking about the Sword of Kaigen is very character driven and not plot driven like some people believe it should be or was gonna be. So that, but anyway,
Their
back
expectation.
to yeah. So this Woven Kingdom, we talked about characters. So we like all our main characters. I actually do. She has a lot of really cute side characters too. Even like the little
Mhm.
bumblebee. I'm like,
Oh, the Firefly. I do like the
yeah,
Firefly a lot.
Firefly. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I love adorable side characters. But so the plot is our next. So characters. Oh, characters. What do we give them overall for rating? I 5
I
out of 5.
would I would give them, I would say four stars. Um
Okay.
I would like to see more development of some of the side characters. Or and maybe it's more of the pacing issue in that can be slow. But we'll talk about that
Yeah.
in a minute.
Yep. So we'll talk about plot and pacing here now. So the overall plot, I think, is good. It's again character driven.
Hmm.
It's about the relationship between these characters. There are things happening in the background. It does have plot sequences and things happening, but you really care about what's happening with Elisa.
The people, yeah, and it
Yeah.
is more about like the the relationship. Like you said, there are a lot of things happening in the background, particularly in book 1. There are more plot pieces, um, in that she's trying to survive. Um, she's trying to survive in a country that is not particularly friendly to her race,
People.
to her people, um, and then trying to figure out what she's going to do with herself, because without her parents and without any of her people around her, she's just trying to survive.
Yeah, she has
so
no
that
support.
all of that part, and then what all is going on with the king and Cameron, the prince, and all of their stuff are all plot pieces that are going on. Where I feel like there was a lot more plot in book 1.
Then 2.
So there,
yeah,
then book 2, which is fine. I think there was more of a balance in book 1 between plot and characters, because you are learning about all these characters.
I agree.
And particularly Eliza's relationship with all the people around her.
So we talked about pacing too. I will give the plot 4 stars. I mean, I like where it's going, but
I like where it's going. Wish it would get there a little bit faster.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of tension that she's building up, and
yes,
I just don't know where it's going yet. And I finished all 3 books so far, so I still don't know where it's going. Which, yeah, I think that's a major criticism for people, is they're like, okay, we get it. We get like where all the characters, all their relationships, yada yada. What are we doing with this? Where are we going? And she's just building tension.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot of tension. And then it's definitely kind of oscillates back and forth between, do I like this character? Do I not like this character? Like, I'm not quite sure sometimes, particularly with the 2 male protagonists.
Yeah, especially with Cyrus and Cameron.
Because they're very hot-headed.
All right, so pacing, we definitely... yeah, he is. So pacing, I know you probably are giving it a 3. All right.
A 3.5. 3.5 for 4.
I had no
for
problem reading any of these books. Usually pacing's a problem for me.
And if I find that I'm wanting to put it down,
if pacing's a problem for me, I won't. I'll have a hard time picking it up.
Yeah, it's not hard to pick up, and it's not hard to finish, because I think I finished the first book in like 3 days, 3 or 4. Not long. It didn't take me a long time, and I didn't put it down and pick up something else, which happens if
yeah. So what about world building?
I really like her world. I really, especially as I am way more of a fantasy. I like my fantasy with a little less romance. I wish there was more about the world and the magic and the and less of as just a side. Because I like the world she's built. I just want to see more of it.
I agree. It's a good. It's good. I do wish there was a little more, but I know that this genre, that's not where she's going. You're not.
And that's why I feel like I'm not, like I said, I'm not her ideal reader.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I
don't mind it. It was still good, and it's still an entertaining book to read. It's just not going to hit that 5-star mark, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Although I think I put 5 stars on Goodreads, but that's because they don't have half stars. Because I gave it like a 4.
Would give it 4.5.
4.5. Because it does hit a lot of those points. Fable does. You can do half stars on Fable.
I think the thing, I have to remember, it is a YA. It is a romantasy. The characters are the main drivers here, whether that's what we want it to be or not. I do wish we got more of the world, and I'm hoping that we do in the coming books. You get a little bit more in book 3, and hopefully 4, 5, and 6 we'll get more. I'm just assuming there's going to be 6 books.
Yes, because that seems to be her style.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So overall rating, what do you give it? You said 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5.
Okay. Yeah, still a 5 for me. I honestly, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Sometimes you love what you love.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to make
something
sense.
about it I just love it. And I'll reread it and keep rereading it till she finishes the series, and I'll have them all. And I even have my third copy signed. I have a signed third copy. So yeah.
And they are
Would
really
I recommend?
pretty books.
Yes, I do all the time.
All the time. Would I recommend?
All
I
the
would recommend
time.
it
I
to
have
my romance friends. My friends who love the romance side and
yes.
like fantasy, but maybe a little less fantasy than than me.
Than I do. Yeah. A little less epic fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the book that I took to our book exchange at work, This Woven Kingdom. So
yeah, and I think if you
I'll
are
definitely
looking
be
for
finishing the
something that's
series.
an easy transition from romance to fantasy, I think this is a good place to
Or
start.
romance. Yeah, it's a good romantasy. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, that's all for us here. We like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.